Record numbers of new businesses are being started, interest rates for loans and other financing are going through the roof, and millions of entrepreneurs are looking for other funding options, specifically grants. Hey everyone, it's Ryder from Skip. In this video, I'm going to tell you how you can win grants for your business. Whether you're looking for $1,000 or $100,000 in grants, in money that you don't have to pay back, I'm going to tell you the 5 things you should be doing to win grants. And this is based on data we've seen helping tens of thousands of businesses apply for grants, many of them winning grants. So let's get into it. The 5 things you need to do to win grants for your business. As always, thanks for subscribing. And if you appreciate this video, hit the like button. And according to our data, the last tip is the most important one. So be sure to watch until the end. The number 1 tip to winning grants is, of course, knowing about the grants in the first place, aka discovering what grants are available. Every month, there are thousands of grants across the US, from the national level to the state level, to the city and down to the town level. Grants based on geography, grants based on your background or demographic, grants based on your type of business, grants based on your mission. Literally thousands are out there. The daunting part is often knowing what's out there. There are a lot of great resources. When you Google how to find grants, there are lookups. There are places you can go where they've prepared lists for you. There are local chambers of commerce, other private companies and organizations. And of course, the Skip Funding Assistant, where we update new grants every single week. It's free in the App Store and Google Play. Just search Skip. Personally, I think you will be surprised with how many opportunities are actually available. For example, millions of businesses knew about the targeted EIDL grants during the pandemic. Millions were approved. Millions of business owners and entrepreneurs received those grants. And to a lot of folks, that was a great introduction to the land of grants and the possibility that grants bring for your business, especially now when other financing options are just not as attractive as they were a few years ago. Interest rates on loans have gone up significantly. Valuations have gone down when taking money from outside investors, which leaves a lot of you looking for new funding options to grow your business that are not dilutive and you don't have to pay back with exorbitant interest rates. Hence, the first thing that you need to do to win grants is discover grants that you're eligible for. So if you haven't yet, I highly recommend you download the Skip app in the App Store and Google Play. In fact, many of you may know about the Barclays Bank small business grants that they've been doing on an annual basis. We helped one of the finalists discover the grant in the first place. There were tens of thousands of applications for the Barclays grant and only 10 finalists for the $60,000 grant. One of them was using the Skip Funding Assistant to discover new grants. And these business owners successfully did the second step, which is preparing your grants foundation. So many of the grants out there have similar questions. They want to know about you, your story, why you started your business, who you're helping, where you want to take your business, and oftentimes, if you get the money, what you plan on using it for. The vast majority of grants that require information from you will want that information. So the second thing is to prepare those answers ahead of time. There's 2 things you'll need to prepare: your story, so you can quickly answer questions like that, and have a foundation for your grant responses. This is also important for consistency. So every time you're asked the question, why are you doing what you're doing, you have a consistent answer. And pro tip, that's also an answer you can use in your marketing when talking to customers, when talking to media, since so many people want to understand the story behind your business and what your mission is. The second piece of preparing is getting your documents together. Many grants will ask for supplemental information. This often includes having a business plan, having business projections, having your articles of incorporation, or documents that show that you're an actual business entity. Then sometimes they'll ask for recent tax returns or recent profit and loss statements. They'll basically want to evaluate where your business is at today. So it's important to have those documents on hand, whether it's on your computer, easily accessible in the cloud, or you can also store those documents on the Skip dashboard. So once you've discovered the grant you want to apply for, you have confidence knowing that you've got a lot of the heavy lifting already done, which leads to the third thing you need to do to win a grant, which is customizing for that specific grant opportunity. Read through the application application ahead of time, scan the questions, scan what they're asking for, and look for clues as to what they're looking for. This is often on the grant application or in the FAQ section. Many of you know I like to do videos giving tips for certain grants, what they're looking for. For example, some grant applications may say they really want to hear about your positive impact on the community. So you want to formulate your answers to make sure you've covered that point. Others may want to emphasize something about your product, something about your background or your story, something about a challenge you've overcome. And that will often depend on the organization that's giving out the grants. They'll often want to support businesses that reflect the values of that organization. So read through and customize your story and your answers accordingly. And I'll tell you why that is so important in a minute. And if you get that far, you are already ahead of the vast majority of people. I'll give you the stat there in a second. It's quite surprising, but let me finish with the final 2 things you need to do to win grants for your business. The fourth is getting a friend, a colleague, someone you know that's not you to review your answers before submitting. This is especially important for your first couple grants that you apply for. When you first written your story, your why you started, why you're doing what you're doing, what impact you're having on the community or others, you should have someone that's not you review what you've written down, or if it's a video they ask for, review your video. By the way, a quick tip on video submissions, since many new grants want to see you submitting a video, typically 1 minute or 2 minutes about your business, you should always write out what you're going to say ahead of time and read from your story or your notes. Now, of course, this is not a requirement, but the reason why this is so important, why we have editors in the media or publishing business, is because having a second pair of eyes or a third pair of eyes will always catch something that you may have missed. But if you simply can't find someone to review it, or the deadline is approaching, one tip I like to use is take a few minutes away from your application and then read it back to yourself out loud. The act of hearing what you've written is very important, and it's good practice if you have to do a video submission as well. And finally, the 5th thing you need to do to win grants is to submit on time. This is the mind-boggling statistic that we see from the Skip app. We've had tens of thousands of businesses interested in funding opportunities, in particular grants. 85% of them never apply for that grant or funding opportunity, which is shocking, but it just goes to show you, just by submitting, you're already ahead of 85% of all other potential applicants. Imagine getting an 85% boost. Imagine how much that increases your odds of getting a grant. Of course, the disclaimer is grants are still very competitive, but again, if you never apply, you can never win. And by using the Skip app, you can discover a lot of grants not many people may know about. Whether it's for your type of business or specific to your geography, there's a lot of grant opportunities on there. If you follow those 5 things, you're going to dramatically increase your chances of winning a grant, from discovering opportunities that are great for you, to preparing your documents and your story ahead of time, to customizing your responses specific to that grant application or opportunity, to having a friend or colleague review your answers or your submission, to submitting on time and getting ahead of 85% of all other potential applicants. Did I miss an important tip there? Let me know in the comments. And keep in mind, grants are just one part of the funding plan that you should be thinking about as a business owner. Yes, interest rates on loans have gone up, but there are still competitive options out there, especially if you need significant funding or you need funding in a hurry. If you're interested in learning about some of our other funding options, check out this playlist. And if you want to go check out the Skip app, go here. And as always, thanks for subscribing and tuning in. Most importantly, stay well, stay healthy, and I'll see you in the next video.